Hello and welcome to Our Yard Podcast. This is episode 31. This is going to be back on the music review type shit. We are here with That's Kenny from Memphis. You already know what it is. I am Swaggy T alongside my usual co-host, Ye Old Hogmaster. And with no further ado, let's get straight into this shit.
God damn.
Hell fucking yeah. And like I said, this is the episode 31. This is like episode, I think, 12, technically, of the music review. Well, no, technically. I guess, 10? We started with 91?
Yeah. 10, but there's about 12, there's probably about 15 parts, so.
Yeah, so
about 15, 16.
we're going to try to keep this to one part today for your listening pleasure and our sanity.
Yeah.
So
pretty much.
For no further ado, we will go ahead straight into Harley's number one pick, his third favorite album of 2001.
Fuck it. I mean, I don't know. All three of mine I feel like are good picks. I'm gonna go out with a hitter, bro. I'm gonna go 2001, their second album, Trains, Drops of Jupiter. That album, fire shit, bro. Fire shit. Shout out my girl Alexia. Love you, girl. Come back home, please. Seriously, don't change your last name again.
This is the vibe.
She's one of my ex-wives, don't worry. She loves me some way. But anyways, Drops of Jupiter, train, like, of course everybody knows the title track. It's one of the most iconic songs of all time. But like, the whole album, man, I'm gonna tell you something. There's like, I don't know, it opens up with She's on Fire. It's kind of a different vibe, but I fuck with it heavy. It's just like I really don't know what to explain, like, what fucking Train is.
It's a lot harder than I was expecting from Train.
Yeah. And like, but see, like, this album, like, the thing about this opener is it's like, it's kind of poppy, but it's kind of like spaced out in a sense. Like, it doesn't really give you a good, foreshadowing of what's about to fucking happen. Cause like, it's a good song, but like, it's not as dark or anything about what's about to go on. It's just kind of, I know it's a little different, but I fuck with it heavy, obviously. I mean, it's a good opener. And,
reminds you of the good times before the Depression.
That's right. And then, I Wish You Would. Shit, Sleeper, bro. You don't know, like, people don't know about this shit. Dude, honestly, this album just keeps getting, like, it starts off with them, which are good, and then this is when it just starts getting into the fucking hitters and the bangers. You know, you hit the track 3, Drops of Jupiter. I mean, motherfucking hell. Like, everybody knows it. Everybody sings that fucking song when it comes back, when it comes on. 'Cause now she's back in the atmosphere with drops of Jupiter in her hair. I mean, that shit's just fucking, it's a rockin', like, I mean, it's just an iconic song, like, it'll never fucking die.
She listens like spring and she talks like June.
That's right.
And goddamn one of the saddest fucking songs ever made, given the context of it.
Yeah, cause he wrote it about Pat Monahan talked about he had a dream one night after his mom passed away. And that song just kind of came to, like, he saw his mom out in space because his mom didn't believe in heaven and stuff. She was agnostic and, like, he was, like, floating in space and, like, saw her out there. That's why it's like, that's why the lyrics are like, you're out there.
That makes sense.
Yeah, you're out there in space somewhere. I mean, it's a badass song. Like I said, like when Trevor, he said, like, the context of it's a lot harder. than what people might think just listening to it. But, yeah, awesome. It's about you. Oh, yeah.
On
This
your
is one.
16th birthday? No fucking shout out
It's
SpongeBob.
about you, Pearl.
Gang.
It's about you. I wanna be your man. That shit's good. Like, and then my favorite, cause I'm a sad boy and I have depression, is fucking Hopeless. My God, dude, is that like, if you are in a sad mood, like that song will make you feel like there's a pit in your stomach and you're like, I'll never escape this. Like, this is,
Maybe I
I'll
don't want
never
to
escape this.
dude, that
It
shit,
is.
that's like, you talk about heavy lyrics, like that shit's rough. Hopelessly, helplessly, wonder why you leave. Man, hey, that shit, I'm talking about fucking straight heat. And then it's like, respect. Respect, see, it's like she's on fire to me in a way. Like, it's kind of that upbeat, like, kind of fun or something, like more fun song,
Yeah.
Doesn't really match the album, but like, it kind of gives it a break because then it goes into Let It Roll, which is, so like one of my favorite, cause it is just a chill song. Like one of the, I don't know. I love it. I love the train songs that are like, slower and more melodic and ballady. Like Let
Yeah.
It Roll just does it for me. Like, let it roll into me. Let it roll into me. That shit's just good. Like, I love it. Like, Something More is kind of the same way. Banger. Whipping Boy. Motherfucking
God
hell.
damn.
I remember I had this I had this album on cassette, and I used to play it for Trevor. Like, we used to ride around and listen. We used to listen to the back half of this album more than we did the front. Like,
Mm-hmm.
I think the back half's the stronger half, personally.
I mean, so what we did, cause Hopeless was the last song on the first side, right?
Yeah.
No, Respect. No, yeah. Hopeless was the last song on the first side, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. That makes sense.
And then damn, hell yeah, my sister just brought me M&M's and fucking Dr. Pepper. Shit's living.
Your sister brought you Eminem and Dr. Dre?
Hell yeah, Dr. Pepper. Uh, so yeah, so like Whipping Boy dude, guitar playing. This is what I was talking about earlier. Like Jimmy Stafford was an underrated guitar player. I mean, this showcases him 100%. Great fucking song. Like, probably my favorite. God, it's hard. It's either this or Hopeless in my, I don't know. Fuck it. I guess I'll go Whipping Boy my favorite. Cause I listen to it anytime, man. It is so good. That gets, like, just the build up at the intro. And it's like, oh, shit, I don't know. It's perfect to me. Like the build up, the come down, the climax, like everything is it's just a wonderful written song. Probably it is, yeah, I'd have to say it's my favorite train song of all time. Like I said,
Wow.
that is like Hopeless depending on the day. Getaway, Slept On song, cause it kind of just blends at the end, but it's a really solid song. And then Trevor's favorite, like I remember playing this song for Trevor the first time and he was just blown away, was Mississippi. What a way
That's
to
my
end
favorite.
a fucking album, dude.
Dude, this
Like,
shit, the reason I love it so much is because I'm a big fan of lo-fi music. And honestly, like one of my favorite TV theme song of all time for a TV show was House MD. And that shit sounds just like the House theme song to me. I don't know what it is. They knocked it out of the park. Fucking amazing bass work. Just perfect song. And a
oh
great
yeah.
way to close an album.
I mean,
Mississippi is
honestly, I
beautiful.
don't
It's a
like,
fantastic piece of work.
it is like, I mean, to me, it's a perfect album closer. Especially for this album, you couldn't have picked a better song.
Oh yeah.
But just in general though, like, just a fire album closer. Like oh man, yeah, Mississippi, dude, I could talk about that shit forever. Like, just that chill. Boom, doodle, doodle, boom, doodle, doodle, doodle. They call her Mississippi. But dude, like Pat Monahan's voice, I'm gonna tell you something, King. I don't know if you like just listening to it, but like Pat Monahan, he has some fucking range, dude. Like the
I, I
different.
listen. I listened to this album at work, right? And I'm gonna start a new job this week, and I kind of like didn't catch all the titles. It kind of all like kind of blurred together, like not like in a bad way. I like the album a lot, but
Yeah, you just didn't know the
Mississippi
song.
made me stop and figure out what the fuck I was listening to because it was so good. I was like, hold on a second, I can't like not get the title on this one, you know?
Oh yeah.
Um, hey gentlemen, I'm gonna have to. I hate to do this. I'm gonna have to pause real quick. I gotta run in Kroger and see what the fuck going on with this food.
That is
I
all
bet.
good. I'm gonna
All
go
right,
ahead and pause
We
the
got
pod real quick.
my
pause the
bad. I was
pod.
trying to wait longer, but
Alright, so with Drops of Jupiter, I guess we'll give our ratings on this album on a 10 scale, like normal. Shit, girls. I guess I'll do. I mean, it's a solid album, you know. Like, I'm kind of like Kenny. Look, I'm not gonna. You know, we're gonna have some lines somewhere, you know, like about calling shit, whatever. You know, like as far as our rankings and stuff.
Yeah.
I mean, as great of an album it is, like the few songs don't really match well to me. Kind of like, for some reason in my head, like I'm like, well, I might have to skip around. You know what I'm saying? And
Yeah.
like just listen to like you know, like 9 of the 11 songs. But I mean, most of the time I just listen to it anyways. You know, I just get over it. But it's just something in my head I always think about. So like, to me, you know, just for that fact, you know, I don't know. I give it like, I feel like it's a strong, I feel like it's a strong 7.5, you know. Like it's a solid, it really is a good album. Like it's solid. It's not like, obviously it's not like a perfect, you know, it's not 10, 9 or like that just cause, like I said, in my head it's just these songs. I'm like, maybe I don't feel like listening to that at this moment, you know, cause the thing about a great album to me is like, I can just go from top to bottom. Like I don't think about it, you know, like you just do it. So like that's why that's why I hold it off just a little bit from the top, like 7.5, 8, you know, in that area. You know, for
right,
me, that's why I
like
feel
it's
about it.
good, but it's not perfect, you know?
No, it's a great album, but it's not perfect, you know. So like,
Feel
you
that.
gotta have boundaries somewhere. I just can't do it just cause, you know, recency bias of listening to them again or shit like that, you know. I gotta keep
Yeah.
it, you know, I gotta keep it a buck.
Damn right. Um, I guess I can go. Same. I echo that. 7.5 from me. I enjoyed this album, but like the only problem I think I have with it was that the middle part of it just kind of blurred together, you know. And I was working and stuff, but there was only 3 different times where I stopped and had to be like, what am I like? What song is this? You know,
Yeah,
it's
it's
good
really
for
at
sure.
honestly, it's like really at the end of the albums when you're like, damn, what the fuck's happening?
Yeah. Another thing, like this album kind of looped back when it finished or whatever, because I listened to it like front to back,
Yeah.
and it surprised me when She's on Fire came back on. So I do like this album a lot. I feel like I'm gonna come back and listen to it again.
Yeah, it's good. It does play well into like if it replays, you know, like start like, you know, you go from top to bottom and then it comes back around. It's like, it kind of just, you know,
Makes
it
sense.
kind of just feels right. You know what I'm saying? Like it just goes together well like that.
Definitely, it's very cohesive. I think might be the
Yeah.
word. For sure. 7.5 for me. Favorite song is Mississippi. That shit's a bop. Well, it's a bop in its own special way.
Oh yeah. I get like, I said my favorite song a while ago, Whipping Boy, but what do you got? I know Trevor's is Mississippi, but
Oh yeah. My two favorite songs are Mississippi and Whipping Boy. It's hard to beat Drops of Jupiter itself as like a title track. Some would even say like their signature song, which I mean, between that and fucking Hey Soul Sister is probably their two signature songs. Um, I would have to give this album like I'd say a strong 7 out of 10, maybe a 7.5. So probably just to parrot what y'all are saying.
yeah.
It is very good album, not the best I've ever heard. and knowing what they're capable of, like I feel like they kind of shorted themselves on what they are capable of on the album, and I know they're capable of doing more. Um, if you weren't aware, I mean, they do have a damn Led Zeppelin cover album, essentially, where they remade an entire Led Zeppelin album. If you want to know what kind of range the singer has,
I
but
gotta check that out.
Yeah, it's Train does Led Zeppelin too, and holy fuck, it's good. Like,
it's
I
really
bet.
good.
but with that, I guess we'll go to Trevor's first pick.
My first pick gonna be just a little weird here. We're gonna go ahead and get our weird shit out of the way. We're talking about probably the weirdest album on here, and one of the more revolutionary of the genre. We're talking about Discovery by Daft Punk, which if there's going to be an album either one of these guys don't like for my pick, I would say this is probably the one. Um, Discovery, March 12, 2001, made by the French house duo Daft Punk. It was accompanied by its own anime style music video, quote unquote, for every single song that came out. To me, every song on this album is a banger, but there are definitely some low points, and it kind of goes back to what I'm talking about with Train. I feel like they kind of shorted themselves on some of these songs. Um, one of the biggest hits on this album, One More Time.
One
I,
more
One more time.
shit,
Tonight we're gonna celebrate. Like, it's just a little too much auto tune for me personally, but aesthetic, like sonically speaking, an absolute banger. Aerodynamic goes into that straight after. Fucking banger with all the guitar in it. The samples throughout this album is just goddamn insane, to put it politely. Digital Love, it goes into kind of a slower song right there, and kind of goes to like heavily processed vocals that Daft Punk is known for. And I feel like it's a good song, but it's not the full like what they're capable of. Harder, better, faster, stronger. Arguably the biggest song from this album, and one of the most iconic samples. Shout out Kanye West
Shout out
for
Kanye West.
for what he
yeah,
did.
Kanye West.
Yeah. Anyway, we're gonna like move on from that. Goes into Crescendos, which is yet another banger. The first song on the album that wasn't a hit. The first four were hits for context. Right after that goes into Night Vision, which is a short little almost transitional track banger. Superheroes, got a damn Barry Manilow sample on it. You love to see it. Right after that goes into High Life, which I feel like is one of the better songs on the album. And just the synthesizers and the sampling, the sequencing, talk box, drum machines, like they're all over the place on this album in the best way possible. And High Life is a really good example of that. Something About Us is another very kind of lovey-dovey type of song, and it's a fun one, very fun. Voyager, that's probably my least favorite. If I had to pick one from the album, it just feels a little underwhelming, given everything else on the album. Veriti Quo, hopefully I didn't mispronounce that. Me and Harley were just listening to that while fucking banger, absolute fucking banger. And it's one of the songs on the album that doesn't even have any vocal samples on it, just straight heat, slow banger, beautiful song. Right after that goes into Short Circuit, which is another banger. And it goes into my favorite song of the EDM genre, and a song that has at least 17 samples just for the main riff. Face to Face featuring Todd Edwards. It is just like, if you haven't heard it, it's got shit from what the hell's his name, Alan Parsons, ELO, like they've got like 17 different samples on this song. Is absolutely insane. I think they actually said they lost like 5 or 6 of the samples. So you're looking at upwards of 20 samples for one song. And when people say sampling is stealing, I feel like they need to take a listen to this song and to see like what capability you can actually do with sampling. You can take 15 different songs and create a beautiful piece of music with it. And Face to Face is a fantastic example of that. And then it goes into the very aptly named Too Long, 10-minute on the dot song.
Jesus Christ. Hold on.
And very very fitting name. But
I didn't make it this far in the album, but damn.
Yeah, very aptly named. It goes from 50 minutes and 50 seconds to an hour and 50 seconds right after this song is over. And this is an album you're going to want to spin back as soon as you hear it, especially if you like EDM, French house, whatever you want to call it. I would say personally, it's probably my favorite Daft Punk album. It's probably my favorite electronic music album. And with that in mind, I'd have to give it a strong 8 out of 10, just an 8 even. Because EDM's not my favorite type of music, but just out of things I've listened to, this is just one of the most consistent EDM albums I've ever heard. What are y'all's thoughts on it?
I mean, it's kind of, I don't know, it's good. Like, to me, it's a little, that last one, the Avalanche, that was a pretty good album.
Banger.
And like, but that one, like I said, I went back, like, after I said I didn't like it, and then I listened to it. And like, with this, though, I never really had a problem listening to this album. It kind of just went, kind of flowed pretty well. Like, it really does. Like, of course, Bordet Claw, like, that shit's, that's a damn banger. I don't know, that's just a peaceful song. Like, that's, okay, like, that is like an EDM I can fuck with. Kind of like the first song on that Avalanche album. What was it called?
Since I Left You.
Since I Left You, yeah.
Shit like that. See, like that and Verde Claw, like, that shit is perfect for me to listen to EDM because it's very chill and it's just like good vibes and it feels like sunshine, in your hole. And like, it's just a good, I don't know, like it is a good album, especially for being EDM. Like, there's a reason it's in the top 100 albums of all time. So, but yeah, I guess if we'll give it a ranking, I guess I'll give it a big doom. No. Shout out Costco guys. No, I honestly though, I would, hell, I'd have to give it a solid, what the fuck? Oh, my cat. I guess I'd have to give it about a solid 7.5. Cause I guess the Avalanche is a 7. I have to give this, cause this one's better than I say it's better. The Avalanche is good, but like this one's I think this one just like flows through a little bit better for me.
Tripping. Y'all both tripping.
That's where I go. So it's like, yeah. Like the middle of this album doesn't lose you. Like it's easier to not get lost in this album as opposed to the other one. So that's why, I give it a 7.5 out of 10. Like, and that's pretty good for me, like ranking a fucking EDM album.
Oh yeah, no, that's a miracle. Like,
yeah, that's like, I'd rather listen, I'd rather fucking walk golf than goddamn listen to EDM most of the time.
Bro. This album is mid. At best, this album is mid. And I like EDM. I love Kanye West, and I like Daft Punk enough to where I was really looking forward to it. And this shit is mid at best, in my opinion. And y'all are tripping. It ain't got shit on the Avalanches Since I Left You. That is a fucking masterpiece. Y'all tripping, dog. I understand why Daft Punk wears masks now. It's not to be cool. Like, they're trying to hide from the shame of this album. Like, I turned it off, and like I don't really ever turn, especially like EDM. Like I normally just vibe, but I had to turn it off about halfway through. I didn't even make it to too long, thank God, because I would have definitely that would have been it.
You ready? I'm about to give you a sound effect. About to give you a sound effect for this album.
Yeah.
Big old toilet flush.
Yeah, it's a big old fucking piece of shitting on you boys like I'm sitting on the toilet seat in a bad way. But with that being said, shout out to Daft Punk, shout out to Kanye West. know I said that twice already, but my favorite song. There was one that I heard that I really liked a lot. I was doing the fucking the man's work and shit. You know, that may have been a factor in me not liking this album too, but I don't think it was. There was another song that I liked. I think it was something. The one with something in it. That was a vibe.
Something
But
about us.
I'm just gonna go with harder, better, stronger, faster because of Kanye. Hold on 1 second.
Hell yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
Oh yeah, we need a little controversy in the mix.
That's right. Shout out to Jordan for telling us to keep it real. Don't be fucking sugarcoating shit.
Yeah, Jordan needs to worry about not cheating with goddamn Liv Morgan. Oh, that's what he needs to do. Goddamn, got my feeling hurt. Oh no.
Wake up 3 a.m. I'm thinking about Madison. Shout out Dave Blunt, brother.
Yeah, I told Kenny you was gonna talk about him too. It's like I have a feeling like we haven't even discussed it, but I just like fucking get Jewish money, fuck Hitler. Like,
It's a bar, brother.
Yeah, and so is the Pikey, but
So is Sheamus and Cesaro, but
that's something. Anyway, Kenny, what you got?
by God, Kenny left us. Oh my God, those bastards, they killed Kenny.
Man, basically. Shouts out to Kroger's, bro. Doing the Lord's work. All right, so is it my turn? Yeah, I think so, right?
Yeah, beat it down.
Oh, I give Daft Punk Discovery a solid 3.5 because I don't know. I'll try it again, maybe. Probably not. Shout out Kanye West. But so in the spirit of Kanye West, we're gonna move on to my third album, and it literally physically makes me ill to have to do this, but it's The Blueprint by fucking Hova, bro. Hove. The ROC. The winner of the beef with Nas, you know? Who else could it be but Jay-Z? You feel me?
God.
And yeah, man. So my favorite part about this album is when it's over. No, you got Just Blaze. The production on this album is amazing. This was Kanye West's first entrance into the world as a producer. It was the first time that the Chipmunk soul samples were really used. And the production's just it's really, really good. It's like, imagine it being 2001 and, you know, this comes out and, you know, unless you're cool, like, you know, like us and shit, listening to that Since I Left You and all that stuff, this is probably the most revolutionary, you know, instrumentation you've heard on a, you know, rap album or a non, you know, instrumental album. So, yeah, man, you got, Renegade with Eminem, which is probably the most argued about song ever. And even though I'm definitely a big ass Jay-Z hater and basically an Eminem stan at this point, in history, Jay-Z's verses aren't that bad, y'all. Go back and run that shit back, analyze, get your fucking, you know, your opinions out of things, man. And, Jay-Z's, that's one of his more lyrical verses, bro. There's a reason they say he's the best, I guess.
Okay, whatever. He's not the fucking best, but yeah.
He's the greatest. This is the greatest album ever, Harley. You didn't know that?
I hear you, bitch.
You know, it dropped on 9/11. It dropped on 9/11, and I'm just gonna leave that there. Limp Bizkit could never.
Coincidence? I think not.
It really ain't though, but we don't have long enough for me to give you the deep dive about what happened with that. Yeah, I'm gonna try to take the high road here and not make any jokes. And it's got H to the Izzo on it, which is, you know, everybody likes H to the Izzo, right? H to the Izzo, B to the Izzo, pushes on my whistle, used to dribble down in PA. You know, everybody likes that, man. It's got Takeover,
but a bitch ain't
which, if you are on the Jay-Z side of the Nas and Jay-Z beef, then you are wrong, for one. But Takeover would have to be the greatest diss track of all time because, you know, that was the song that I believe it was the response to Ether, or either that, or we'll talk about Ether on my next album. But yeah, it was like either the response or it was right before. I can't remember. Kanye West produced. That's the highlight of it. I don't know any notable bars from it. So yeah, this is my album and it is my number 3 album, but it was kind of a light year for hip hop world, and I did want to give Jay-Z his due, because a lot of people do really truly think this is one of the greatest hip hop albums of all time. I'm just not one. It's a 6.
They're a bunch of bullshit. I'm gonna tell you something. I saved my goddamn commode flush for too early. I mean, listen, I'm gonna keep it a buck. Like, fucking Jay-Z, I swear to God, I didn't even know he had his own music. Trevor knows this. Like, I didn't know, like, Trevor had to tell me he actually had discography like 2 years ago. Like, until 2017. Cause like, I thought, all I knew about Jay-Z was he was like, when it comes and dies, and you'll find, That's all I knew from Jay-Z, was just him doing that stupid shit on fucking Umbrella. And I was like, I never liked him. I didn't like that shit. I didn't even like him. Like, I thought he was, fucking with Rihanna's music too much. But I didn't really care for it. So it was like, I don't know. But then Trevor showed me this, and cause Trevor used to listen to discographies of artists, and he would put me on stuff, and I was like, I guess I'll listen to it. And I wish I wouldn't have. It didn't change my fucking mind about much.
He's a goat, dog.
Yeah. I swear to God, I don't understand how people say he's the greatest. Like, he ain't got shit on Project Pat, brother. I don't know.
He don't, bro.
I mean,
he ain't even got shit on fucking Lil B, bro. Lil B's got more prolific discography than Jay-Z. Fuck y'all mean, bro.
Like, if I could, I can't even name you, like, give you 5 Jay-Z songs to put up next to. I couldn't even name you 5 Jay-Z songs to put up next to Juice WRLD's, to put up the Juice WRLD's debut album, Goodbye and Good Riddance. Like, I don't.
So you're saying that Juice WRLD's debut album shits on Jay-Z's entire discography?
Oh, yeah, without a doubt. Right.
It dead ass does, though. I feel that.
And also, the other thing about that is Juice WRLD was fucking freestyling everything. So, and he was
apparently Jay-Z was, too.
Okay, I don't think so.
I don't believe it.
He was probably like The Rock, saying he was cutting promos and he was just writing it on his fucking hand.
Right. I mean, yeah. So that's basically. Thank you, Harley. That's a fantastic way to summarize Jay-Z in just a nutshell. It's a whole lot of mid, bro.
A whole lot of fucking mid. I mean, like, if you wanted me to give you, like, cause I swear to God, dude, like, this is not like, I know Jordan told me, like, y'all need to, like, be honest. I'm like, well, I think we've been pretty honest about how we feel about the albums up to this point. We just haven't really had any shitty albums to talk bad on. But then, like, you brought this up, and, like, this is just in my fucking ballpark, brother. Like,
it's awful.
Like, Jay-Z is just somebody I can't fuck with, dude. I do. Like, I do not care about him. I'm not gonna sit and listen to another fucking album of his.
I got 99 problems, and they all Jay-Z related.
Yeah, pretty much. Like, I mean, what do you want? I guess I can give this a fucking 2.3 out of 10. 2.3. I don't know.
My boy.
Tell you what, you want my rating? We're talking about fucking. Goddamn, I'm sick of all these people always lying to me. All this, like, I listened to Jay-Z's entire discography at work one day, and you want to know how I feel about this shit? This is a very simple type ass album. And I honestly, when I heard this, I was like, dude, this is supposed to be a really good album. I'm ready to hear it. Let me tell you something. Hot take. He peaked, and the only good album that I actually enjoy from Jay-Z, respectfully, I can't see another, honestly, Reasonable Doubt is a good album, but that's about it. It's not a great album. It's a good album. Jokes aside, I would probably give this, a 5 out of 10. It's not, I was highly disappointed with what I heard. Just everybody saying that he was the best, and he's just not. That you can't, any aspect of his rapping that you can think of, somebody's done better, and way better at that. You want to talk about a rapper, a rapper that's good at freestyling? Juice WRLD. You want to talk about a rapper that goes into the studio, doesn't write anything, and makes good music? Lil Wayne. You want to talk about a rapper that represents New York culture better than anybody else ever did? Most of them. Like it's like
Hell yeah.
respectfully, like it just is what it is, you know.
I mean,
We ain't even got to be respectful, honestly.
like Nas,
Nas, yeah, exactly. Like Nas is New York.
New York State of Mind by itself is better than anything Jay-Z could ever say about the East Coast.
That's
Yeah,
what I'm saying.
like it's money. That's all it is, man.
Don't worry, y'all. I'll save us. I'll get us off this Jay-Z topic. Y'all ready?
They really bought Jay-Z a career, bro. That's out to whoever
Here we
owns
go.
Jay-Z.
Because Jay-Z could never hold a candle to this next guy. We're talking about the one and only, the goddamn motherfucking king, George motherfucking Strait, coming in with the road less traveled. This shit. We're talking about 3 number 1 hits off this album. Hey, that's like coming off that last album in 2000 when everybody's like shitting on it. And like, they're like, he's kind of weird, like he's falling off. And like, then he comes back with this and puts out this heat and they're like, holy shit, he's back. It's like, and then he's like, I never left. Tips his cowboy hat, fucking rides off on his goddamn horse. I'm talking about. Like, bro, like opening up an album with She'll Leave You With a Smile. Shit, boy. Like that. You talking about an album opener, that's fucking tough right there. Like that damn guitar part just fucking, that verse, she'll come on strong, like she'll love you all night long. Boy, I'm talking about hurting, crying, shitting, pissing. That pussy's got me shooting ropes. Like, hey, I'm telling you, that damn, look, I used to cry so much that, like, Trevor seen me cry to this album. He can fact check you. It's just banger, dude. Like, and then you got Run, which is another number 1 hit. Like, holy shit. Dude, that album, that has a sentimental place in my heart with me and with my buddy, one of mine and Trevor's longtime friends. Oh, Ethan Heikenfield. Shout out. We actually got drunk.
Shout out and Big E.
Big E, baby.
Shout out.
And then you got Trevor's favorite, Stars on the Water. Which, like, okay, I say it's Trevor's favorite because it was the first time Trevor ever heard George Strait with auto-tune. Probably the only time
that's what sold me on that's what sold me on him. You're absolutely right.
Honestly,
Is this George Strait 808s and Heartbreaks?
Dude, honestly, it's about like that.
How could she be so heartless?
Like, it's just in the chorus part, and it's like, dude, like, I don't know why they did it. Maybe he was just fucking off, but I was like, what, like, you know, George Strait doesn't need auto-tune for one thing. Like, I don't really see where it fits in the country music, but by God, he did it. I mean, like, I gotta give it to him for that. Like, he had the balls enough to be like, fuck y'all, I'll do what I want. But like, it wasn't good. Just because he did it didn't mean it was good.
He had the balls to go out and do what I want. It just wasn't good.
Yeah, and like, that's coming from like, probably the biggest George Strait glazer you ever meet in your life. Like, you know, I know where I'm, like, if I'm glazing too hard. Like, if I ever say that's good, I'm lying. I got a load in my mouth. So, Living and Living Well, another number 1 hit, banger. I mean, just one of those good country songs about like, it's just like George Strait, man, just paints a fucking perfect picture. Like, you're just living your life. Like, there's a difference in between living and living well. Like, I mean, that line, like, that's a bar. Like, that line alone's just like, yeah, there's a big fucking difference in that. You know what I mean? Like, it just kind of tells you what you need to know about the song. Give Me the Real Thing. Hey, he's talking about drinking that real goddamn liquor. He ain't talking about drinking that waterproof bullshit.
This is that jail wine.
Oh yeah, he ain't talking about that. We're talking about drinking that hard ass tequila. Then probably my favorite song on this album, Don't Tell Me You're Not in Love. What a fucking banger. Probably like most slept on song on this album. One of his most slept on songs, I think. In general, man, it's like, oh, it's so fucking good. Like, you know, just a good storytelling, like everything. I think it's a perfect song. You know, it just hits, man. And it's like, it's a feel good song. Like the music to it is just, it's really perfect. Like it's one of the music's like the only thing that George Strait could do is like, of course I know y'all have listened to a few George Strait albums now, doing this shit. And it's like, there's a George Strait, like there's a certain style that he has that like only he can do. And it's like that, it's like a mix between like a Mediterranean. There we go. It's like the mix of like a Texas sound, like on the Mediterranean, like a beachy sound, but like cowboy. I don't know. It's hard to explain, but to me, that's one of them. I don't know. The rest of it, like the title track, Road Less Traveled. What a good, like, great story. Middle of Nowhere's fucking banger. Good Time Charlie's. Old Trevor likes that one. I know he fucks with that pretty heavy.
Yeah, it's my favorite on the album.
I mean, it's a good song, dude. Like, I mean, there's not a bad song on here. Like, just besides the auto tune on Stars on the Water. Like, that's the worst. Like, truthfully, like, to pick out a song or any part of this album, that's just like, yeah, I don't know about it. Like, that would be it. And like, My Life's Been Grand. What a damn, like, I don't know. George Strait did this shit with like, he'll put an album open and it's like, you think he's about to fucking retire after he does this, and you're like, or album closure. I was like, My Life's Been Grand. It's like, damn, dude, you about to cut her out, and then, 23 years later, he's still dropping heat, so he's not. But yeah, like, I mean, to be fair, this is to me, like, this is when it starts getting better to me, like, even more with George Strait, because, I like his later stuff, like, over the last 15 years or 20 years, like, I like it a little bit more than I do the, 80s and 90s, like, some of the 90s stuff like this. I don't know. I just felt like he just started hitting a different gear, like doing something a little different. I get like doing it his own way. And then, of course, in like '09, he started writing most of the albums again. So it was like, I guess a little bit more personal is why it feels a little different the last 15 years. So, but yeah, I don't know. Like, this is a banger for me. This is a great George Strait album. I have to give it I have to go. Like, I'll give it an 8. Probably 8.5. I'll give it 8.5. I'll do that for it. Cause like, I think it's a really solid album. Like, it just holds up cause it don't, I don't know. I guess I'll give it an 8 just because that Stars on the Water auto tune. That shit just hurts me, man. Like, like, if it just didn't have that shit, it might be a 9, but I just can't fuck with the auto tune with George Strait. He don't need that shit.
Man.
I gotta agree there. The auto tune, like, I mean, the album itself, my favorite song is Good Time Charlie's, but very first time he showed me that, like, Harley had been on a real big George Strait kick there after high school, and he was like, man, you gotta check this song out. And as soon as I heard it, just straight, it's like, don't ever show me this shit again. And I hate to use the same sound effect twice, but I mean, I guess that's womp, womp, like, it's just one of those types of things. But other than that, dude, for country, I'm not the biggest country fan in the world, but George Strait is king. I would give this 7.5 out of 10. I do feel like this is not nearly his best work, but it's up there. Like, it's not an album that I would skip over entirely. I'm going to skip Stars on the Water though, but like, if he just had it, cut it off right there, had a fucking 9-song album, this is an 8 out of 10. But, yeah, just take the auto tune off, dude. That might be one of your best songs you ever made, but no, let's just fucking Stars on the Water. Okay, that's enough.
Kanye making his impact now, and as soon as he came in the game, George Strait just started singing an auto tune. Didn't even know why. I'm gonna get my take real quick. Sorry for any interruptions. Blue life is lifing. But this album's mid. Y'all are both tripping, bro. And I like George Strait too. Like, I'm not doing this just to be controversial. Jump's mid, bro. It's just not. I mean, it doesn't do it for me. You feel me?
I'm not gonna shit on it like I shit on Daft Punk or Jay-Z because George Strait. I like George Strait. I like the fact that he used that auto tune, bro. He's innovative, bro. T-Pain, who? But that's basically the only positive thing I can say. I guess the only thing is, and like I wasn't. Maybe it was my surroundings because I was in the middle of trying to tear apart computers, and I was in a high pressure situation, and the vibe didn't match. But I'm not gonna blame the vibe. I'm gonna blame the music. It's a 5. It's just a 5 all around, and just to be different. And shout out to Kanye West one more time. The auto tune track is my favorite.
I mean, like, it's not a bad song. It's just that one part, like, I don't know, it just never sat right with me, I guess. Like, but like I said, I mean, I don't know, like, maybe it's a little top heavy, like, I don't know, I have a lot of sentimental attachment, cause it's not, like, I mean, I'm not gonna argue cause, like, it isn't, like, George Strait's best album by any means. Like I said, I think the shit starts getting a little bit better the older, like, the more it goes on, but like, it's not like, I mean, it's not like it's not a dog shit album. Like, obviously that's why I put it in here, like,
Yeah, no, it's not awful.
no, like, it's not bad. It's just like, I don't know. I think it's like, of course, like, opening up with like 3 out of the 4 songs are number 1. So like, you could make the argument of being real top heavy on the album, cause it kind of starts off real fucking hot. And then it's like, I could see where people, you could lose out, you could probably lose it out in the middle and shit.
Yeah,
But,
sure.
but I mean, like I said, I'm a George Strait, fanatic. So like, that's just why I'm like, yeah. I guess I just have more bias, to it, but, I mean, like, I guess I just see, like, I see where you're coming from. So I don't agree or disagree with you or shit like that. Like, I fuck with it. I fuck with your review. I fuck with your, review for it.
It's a 5. It's not bad, but I will try to listen to it again because I do like George Strait. But yeah, here I'm going on mute for a second, guys.
All right.
Sounds good.
So we'll go with Trevor's number 2, I reckon.
Yeah, and I'll keep this one pretty quick because I've been talking about this dude almost every year for the past 3. We're talking about Aesop Rock's 2001 release, Labor Days, and a lot of the Aesop diehards say this is his best album. It's probably his highest reviewed album. I mean, Metacritic gave it a 92 of 100, and it's usually like 8, 9 out of 10 across the board. But what my personal opinion is, it's not his best. Labor starts off the album, and it's a good song, don't get me wrong, but this is definitely when Aesop Rock and Blockhead started hitting their stride as far as being a producer rapper combo. And Labor's a really good way to start the album off, but I personally prefer the next song on the album, Daylight, which was probably his biggest hit when it came out. And some people would even say it's his biggest hit to date. I don't disagree per se, but I do feel like I prefer Nightlight, which is it's pretty much the same exact song lyrically. It's just 2 different beats. Daylight's very optimistically sounding, but very depressing. And then Nightlight is just like the same song written like almost word for word, except it's just a lot more nihilistic. Save Yourself is the next song on the album. Banger. Flash Flood, banger. No Regrets, one of my favorite Aesop Rock songs, talking about a little girl named Lucy. Essentially, it follows her on her journey through life, and she's kind of an introvert, winds up meeting a boyfriend, and they just like to make art together. And the whole song, it follows her from her being a kid all the way to her being a teenager, an adult, and then her boyfriend passing away, who became her husband. Never had kids, nothing like that. And she's sitting in a nursing home. Nurse comes up to her saying, is like, don't you regret all these things you did? And she's like, no, because I did everything I wanted to. And she just dies. And it's like, oh, fuck, okay. And it's just like one of those kinds of songs. And, it makes you think, it's like, it's a good song for like finding inspiration. And, I don't necessarily disagree with the context of the song, but the actual, Yeah, it's like the chorus is 1, 2, 3. That's the speed of the C. A, B, C. That's the speed of the knee. You can dream a little dream or you can live a little dream. I'd rather live it because dreamers always chase but never get it. And it's just basically saying is like you want to do something, get off your ass and do it. Don't let yourself get in your own way. And I love that. Right after that, it goes into One Brick, featuring Illogic, who's one of my favorite rappers. If you've never heard of Illogic, I highly recommend checking him out, especially he's a very good rapper. I would check out Celestial Clockwork from 2004. That's probably one of my honorable mentions of 2004, but I don't think I'm really going to get into it as much on 2004 because a lot came out on 2004 that I'm going to be talking about. The Tugboat Complex Part 3, following along with the little kind of mini series of songs that he put out. Very good song. Right after that, it goes into Coma, which is the one and only song produced on the album that was not produced by either Aesop himself or Blockhead. Right after that, it goes into two Aesop Rock produced tracks, Battery and Boombox, which they're good. They're a little lengthy, but they're not bad, but they're probably my two least favorites on the album, respectfully. Right after that, it goes into Bent Life with C. Ray's Walls, the other of two features, and you'll notice that with Aesop, he usually doesn't have a bunch of features on his albums. He's got plenty enough words for 5 rappers per song, and that's just how he is. Right after that, it goes into the Yes and the Y'all, which I would say is one of the more underrated tracks on the album. I'd say like probably if I had to rank them song by song, probably third or fourth favorite on the album. Then it goes into by far my favorite song on the album and my favorite song from Aesop's early career, 9 to 5ers Anthem, which is just a song that is written for the common man, written for people that have to go every day, go to work every day.
Folks that work
And
88 hours a day.
yeah, it's that type of shit. And it's basically like, again, it'll be the second time I read a hook and probably the last time I read a hook on this particular episode, but this is the hook of the album. We the American working population hate the fact that 8 hours a day is wasted on chasing the dream of someone that isn't us. And we may not hate our jobs, but we hate jobs in general that don't have to do with fighting our own causes. We the American working population hate the 9 to 5 day in day out, and we'd rather be supporting ourselves by being paid to perfect the pastimes that we have harbored based solely on the fact that it makes us smile if it sounds dope. And it's pretty much just like a song that just kind of goes into the realistic situation that we don't like to work. 95% of us don't like our jobs, and just a very relatable song. And then it ends with Shovel, which I feel like you could have flipped 9 to 5ers Anthem and Shovel as far as like being the album closer, but still a good song nonetheless. Overall, I do feel like this is a very good album, and of Aesop's earlier work, definitely his most like digestible. And with that in mind, I would have to give it a 8.5 out of 10.
Yeah.
Well put. I really enjoyed this album. I again, I don't have the exact titles, but I think that the first hook that Trevor that you did, that was my favorite song. I do remember that hook. It is the most digestible. What was it?
Oh, so No Regrets.
No Regrets. Yeah, I like that a lot. It is like it's ASAP rock. It's ASAP rock for the common man, you know. Like, so I really enjoyed it. It's been my favorite album of his so far. And Jay-Z could never, dog. Like,
That's right.
My God.
There's probably only about a handful of individuals on this earth that can hang with A$AP Rock when it comes to like this like highly educated intellectual rap, you know.
Yeah.
And just his flawless execution.
I'd say Lupe for sure.
Lupe. We'll get to Lupe in 2005. Harley, if you take my fucking album, I'm gonna fight you.
Hey, bro. Not my fault. It's one of the best albums.
Kick, push, kick. Anyway.
No, you don't even know Lupe like I know.
Bro,
you never met Lupe. You never went to jail with him. No.
You went to jail with Lupe? You weren't in there with Chili Chill, were you? That's crazy. Yeah, I didn't know the intro to the cool was Free Harley and Chili Chill.
That's right.
Correct.
All right. But with that being said, though, I give this album an 8. You know, like I feel like this was gonna be one. I think I'm into this. I think I'm hooked by A$AP Rock by this album, and I want to listen to it when I'm not, on the go, so that I can properly analyze and have my dictionaries ready. But yeah,
Alright.
very good. I give it an 8.
Yeah, I have to agree with you. I mean, I have to give it, I mean, definitely, cause like out of the earlier stuff was like I've talked about before, like that's why I kind of started, even though Trevor's like, probably don't want to. And I'm like, fuck it, I'll do what I want. So I was like, listen to all his early music. And like, this is the album where it's like, it finally catches. And like, this is like, he just finally, like all the pieces came together to me is where it seemed, like where he found that balance between, rapping a fucking encyclopedia out and like, having catchier shit, like, I don't, just a good medium, honestly, like good balance between shit. Really good album. I mean, this is the highest ranking, for one I had to do. Like, I'll give it an 8, like real solid. And I'm about the same way, like, No Regrets. That's probably my favorite song on there. I don't know, man. Like, there's something about that song.
It's most people's favorites the first time they listen to this album, so I get that 100%.
Yeah, I mean, it's just a banger. But I mean, like, Daylight, it's still like his biggest song, but like Daylight, I mean, you can't go, like, there's a reason it's still his biggest song. It's just it's a banger, man. Like, it's easy to listen to. It just all hits, So it is, but like, yeah. Shout out Illogic though, for real, on One Brick banging. Yeah, just a solid album. Like, this is definitely an album of A$AP. If you want to get into A$AP, then you want to start earlier stuff to kind of see what it evolves from. I suppose like this is definitely the one to start with. So yeah, I mean, yeah, good album. I think we're all about the same, 8 on it. I mean, it is what it is. It's a good fucking album. Easy listening. It's not, just goes good.
Digestible.
Oh yeah, easily. So
Not basic as fuck, like an overrated.
Which is wild for an A$AP album for it to be that digestible.
Yeah, it's like lasers. It's like, this is like A$AP's lasers.
Yes, that'd be a good way to describe it.
So what's your next album?
Me? Oh,
Yeah.
man, we're about to flip this whole rap shit upside down, because my next album is the classic, iconic, piece of chicken head work from Memphis, Tennessee's finest, Project Pat, bro. It's everything's working, bro. And I'm spacing on it's Mr. Don't Play, Everything's Working. Jesus Christ. I have a beanie of this fucking album. Yeah, Mr. Don't Play, Everything's Working. The second full studio album by Project Pat, bro, who is quickly climbing alarmingly high on my list of overall rappers in general, which is crazy for a lyrical miracle spiritual individual like myself. So this album, bro, it's basically the exact opposite of what we just talked about. This is about getting head and doing drugs and murdering people.
Correct.
Yeah. And, it's got just iconic tracks, man. Getty Green, I think, is my favorite Project Pat, but this is probably, you can say either one, and you'd be wrong because it's Getty Green, but this is a damn good album, bro. It opens up with the classic, iconic Chicken Head, bro, featuring 369 and LeChat. Bro, you can't get no better than that.
Dude, that song, like, we all sang that as fucking kids in elementary school. I remember being like 7 years old and everybody's like, chicken head, Yeah, I didn't know what the fuck we were talking about, but that shit was hard.
Yeah, it's just still hard, man. It came on, I played it earlier and I was just like, chicken. You know what I'm saying? And then it's got LeChat on it. Shout out to, shameless music plug, insert here. Shout out to, Lauren Badass for getting that LeChat feature. Go check that shit out. But this is LeChat at the beginning. This was LeChat when, we were all still Shermans. So, yeah, man, Chicken Head's dope. Part 2, it's a skit. Cheese and Dope, another just iconic, highly, highly sampled, song in the history of rap in general. It's fantastic, man. It's just, you can't get no better than that. And then Don't Save Her. The first up until the 10th song on this album, and really past that too, it's just perfect. There's only maybe 2 or 3 like songs that I skip when it comes on. One time, my Spotify messed up, and I thought it was only going to play this album on a loop because that's what it was doing, and I was fine with that. I was like, you know what? If there had to be an album for me to listen to every time I'm in my car for the rest of forever, then I'm glad it's this one. And that's damn near the highest compliment I can give to any type of music. If you went from hood, you can get from around here. We got Break the Law, bro. We got, and it's not even the best song. It's so hard to like say that none of those are the best songs because, I mean, Don't Save Her. I mean, J. Cole made it go boom, but Project Pat, like, he's the person that made it. And I believe Project Pat was in jail when this album dropped, and that's a shame. He never really got to experience his peak because every time he would be about to drop an album, he would go to jail. And it wasn't a promotional tactic like a lot of us thought back in the day. He was really in that bitch. JR. But the best song on this album and one of my favorite songs of all time is Life We Live, featuring Naaman Lumpkin and Edgar Fletcher. And god damn, man. Like, this is another one of those songs I can just do a cappella off the top of my head. And it earns it. It's a different side of Project Pat that, I mean, he kind of tapped into it on Getty Green on Choices and Stabbers or whatever. But this is lyrical Project Pat at its finest, man. And it's just real shit. Like, if you're going through some real shit in your life, this song will work every single time. And it'll make you, no times in my life where I felt down and stuff, where stuff was going on, this song has helped me. So I'm thankful that Project Pat has been able to give us this. And I'm glad that he's getting his flowers, man. I definitely want to join that group of people and just go on and give Project Pat his flowers. I mean, that's a real legend. It's between him and Juicy, but like, I really think he's probably the greatest rapper out of Memphis. Like,
I say he's definitely the most like influential.
Yeah, Dolph could end up going down as the most influential before it's all said and done, but Project Pat is hard to beat. And if you talk to Dolph, he would talk about Project Pat. That's just how this shit works, you know? And shout out to everybody else too. I haven't touched really on the Memphis Underground that much, and I'm not gonna go into it super deep right now, but shout out to everybody else that was part of like forming the sound that became 3-6 Mafia. Shout out DJ Spanish Fly, shout out the Gimme Some family, shout out Tom Ski Mask, shout out freaking Tommy Wright the Third, crazy motherfucker. Like, this
Nasty
is
Nardo. I mean,
Nasty Nardo, exactly, man. Like, all like a part of like a gigantic thing that is arguably the most influential part of maybe modern music in general, but definitely rap music and trap music of the the past 10 years. Like, Project Pat gets quoted more than any rapper I've heard, like, especially recently.
Right.
I'm just happy that I went back and did my proper education, like, because Project Pat's the truth. I give this album a 9.5.
Oh, dude, like, when you go back, it's like going back and re-listening to these Project Pat albums that I haven't listened to in some years. Like, you just listen to it and you're like, gosh damn, dude, like, how much this dude has been fucking sampled and like lyrics taken out of it. Like, it is crazy how much impact that Project Pat has had along by himself. Like, dude was just, I don't know, man, he was in his bag back in the day. And like, shout out one of the albums, or shout out one of the songs on there, North North, like, cause that goes into, the Chronicles of the Juice Man, Juicy J's first album, with the first song being North North Part 2 on there. Which, that's not a pick, that's in 2002. But I'm just saying, like, shout it out, like, put your thumbs up, brothers. North, put your thumbs up. Hey, that shit's, let me tell you something.
Fire.
Dude, let me tell you, fucking, like, Juicy J and Project Pat, like you said, I mean, the two top guys in Memphis, historically. I mean, like you said, hell, I don't know. Like you said, I mean, Dolph might end up making his way up there, you know, but as of right now, like those other two guys you think about, like, what a damn good album, man. That's like Mr. Green and this one, you know, they are both really hard to beat.
I love Nas, but man, this matches Nas. Honestly, I almost put Getty Green above Slim Shady LP for a reason. This was almost my number one album, you know, on this episode as well. Debatably, it's going to end up being my number one album, like in the long run.
Yeah, like I don't know, like any bad, like, you know, like Whole Lot of Weed, Don't Save It If You Ain't From My Hood, Gorilla Pimp, like, you know, So High, We Can Get Gangsta, Ski Mask, like this, I mean, the shit just hits, dude, like.
They got a phone call from 201. Y'all, 201's the jail in Memphis. Yeah, if you walk by the vents, you can just smell the weed coming from it's in the middle of downtown. So, I mean, I hate that Pat was in jail for all this, but so this skit had to be made, but that's a good skit.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. To give it a ranking, dude, like, honestly, it's one of the most influential rap albums of all time. Shit. Damn, it's hard. Like, I get like, yeah, I'll go ahead. I'll give it a 9. Easy. I'll give it a 9.
Respect.
Cause like, it's hard to beat. I mean, dude, it really is. It's like, it has aged so well. It's so hard to beat. Just a great album, like.
Definitely aged better than Blueprint.
Oh, yeah.
I gotta agree with that. I would probably give it a 8.75 out of 10. The only thing it's missing is just more 3-6 Mafia features. No, no, I'm joking. This is absolutely one of the more, I would say one of the more influential albums to come out of hip hop as a whole, especially out of Memphis. And I mean, Memphis has an undeniable effect on the way rap sounds today. Atlanta as well. I mean, all these southern cities do. I mean, Houston to a lesser extent than Memphis and Atlanta, but you know, it's hard to deny that, you know, Project Pat is definitely the head of that snake that like everybody was trying to copy. My favorite song on this album, probably honestly, Don't Savor. Like it's hard. Like I know it's a bit repetitive throughout, but I mean, that's part of like what makes it so good. Just like drives that fucking point into your head. Life We Live, fantastic song.
You gotta take the good with the bad. The good.
Yeah. No, it's absolutely banging album. I'd say 9 out of 10. It's 8.75 out of 10 at the lowest. This is one of the best albums that's come out of Memphis ever of any genre. So
I agree.
Yeah, like it's hard to beat.
The top 3, and I think it's in the running for because you got World Domination 2, which is I think the greatest. I hate that it's a 9/7 episode. World Domination 2, I could do a whole damn podcast about it. But this is like in the top 5. Like no, like this as far as albums, like in general, if you're talking, you know, cohesiveness, all that shit. These first 2 Project Pat albums are just like damn near perfect.
Oh yeah. It's hard to beat, man.
Like, shout out Cheese and Dope.
Shout them out. Shout out all the Memphis crew, baby.
Shout out God. Apparently Project Pat's, he's found God and he's now a preacher and he does a lot of really good stuff for the community. So,
Preacher Pat. Just imagine going into I'm just like imagine myself going into a church and seeing Project Pat. I'm like, I know I like this is where I'm supposed to be.
Gotta take a hold of the ball.
Featuring the smash hit, Do Save Her. She wants to be saved.
Please save her. God wanna be saved.
But
the choir in the back. That's probably happening somewhere. It was Sunday this morning.
Yeah, that's true. So here we go. Our number 1 picks. We're doing this shit. You ready? Kenny's gonna hate this album, so I'm just prepared. No, no, I gotta get, man, this is to me, one of the best albums to ever come out. Like, it's, and I swear, like, Trevor knows, this is Trevor's first favorite band. I wasn't that big, I'm really not that big of a fan of System of a Down. Like, I respect them, and like, their other stuff, I don't know, I can listen to a few songs, but like, that's about it. Like, I can't dig too deep with them. But this album, I don't know what the fuck they were doing. Like, they were just on their fucking game. Like, Toxicity by System of a Down, like, it might be a gimme, like a pick for a lot of people. Like, they're like, oh, that's just easy. Like, fuck you. There's a reason it was so popular. Like, this album, there's a reason why it's looked at as their iconic album and one of the most iconic albums of the new metal genre and just metal in itself, honestly. Dude, it's just straight fucking heat. Like, all gas, no brakes on this motherfucker. And like, me and my cousin talked about it, like, he never really got into them, but he was like, yeah, he's like, no, I do like Aerials. He's like, what's that off of? I'm like, Toxicity. And he's like, I heard this other song, like Needles. I was like, yeah, that's off Toxicity. And like, he named another song. I'm like, dude, yeah, it's like, I told him, I said, look, if there's one album that you might be able to listen to and that you might like, it would be Toxicity from System of a Down. Cause yeah, they're a weird band, but they were just locked in on this album. Like, that's all I can fucking say. The shit's just good, man. Like, Open Up, one of my favorite album openers, Prison Song. You know, you can't, like, that sets the fucking tone for it, baby. That's all I can say. Skull Vikings right there. Yeah,
bro.
dude, like, Prison Song, just fucking heat. Needles, that was like my first favorite song of theirs, back in the day.
About pulling a tapeworm out of your ass.
Yeah, but it's banging.
Ain't no way that shit's was.
I'm dead serious. Like,
yeah, I can pull a tapeworm out of my ass. I don't want to see you go. Yeah.
Damn, that is what he said.
No, it was quite literally about pulling a tapeworm out of your ass, but
I thought it was about drugs. I thought it was a metaphor.
Yeah. No, it wasn't a metaphor. It was about pulling a tapeworm out of your ass, but,
no, they went pretty literal with it. They're a very strange band.
Deer Dance, fucking
goddamn.
What a fucking song, man. Just, oh, God, it's so good. Like, that was also one of mine, like, you know.
About children soldiers.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I kind of fucked up, but, you know.
What do you expect?
Then you go into X. Shit. Ass beating motherfucker. Like, and honestly, to me, it's not really because I've heard it a million times. I truly believe it's the weakest song on the album, but it was the biggest hit. Probably their biggest hit to this day. But Chop Suey, I can go the rest of my life without hearing the song and I'll be alright. Like, I've heard it way too much.
Yeah, that's kind of where I'm at with it. Like, the first time you ever hear it, you're like, holy shit, this is cool. And then the rest of it's like, oh, okay.
I still fuck with Chop Suey heavy because I haven't gotten burnt out on it yet. But I can see that would be a problem. I've heard it a lot for somebody who hasn't actively tried to hear any type of music in that genre, really.
Yeah. So, like, with me, back in the day, like, growing up, like, I tell you, when I was about 10, like, whenever cell phones started coming around, people started getting them, and then you could get ringtones. Everybody had fucking Chop Suey on their phone. My sister had it as a fucking ringtone, like as an alarm for school. And that shit would wake me up across the house. They'd be like, and I'm like, God damn.
What a way to wake up.
Grab a hair and put a little makeup.
I don't think you're good.
And My self-righteous world song. I mean, it is a good song,
It's a
but
damn good song.
to me it is the weakest song on the album, but, it is what it is. Bounce, Bounce was a good song, like,
It's about group sex.
Hey,
bouncing on cockles. Like, to
noted.
me, like, Chop Suey and Bounce are, like, two of the biggest songs on this album. Like, Bounce was a big song. I don't know, like, if there was I guess this would probably be the, like on this album, that's like the low part is just in the middle, like Chop Suey and Bounce. Cause I mean, they're good songs, but like, it kind of like, from where the album starts and gets to that, it's like, okay, that's a little drop off, and then it just picks up, and it doesn't fucking let off again. Cause it picks back up with Forest. Ooh, one of the best fucking, what a fucking jam, dude. Like, Forest is an amazing song. Then we go into ATWA, which is my all-time favorite.
Air, trees, water, animals.
Yeah, is that what it stands for?
Yep, it's written about Charles Manson's views on the environment specifically.
Oh, goddamn hell. Didn't know that. Me and my ex-wife we sang that song together one time. Oh, no.
Liberals.
Oh. I guess it was, yeah. Yeah, making love to System of a Down. I guess that wasn't good. Oh.
You're a tree, I bet. The EPA.
APA, boom, 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 wow, boom,
God, you unleash the rest of them.
Kenny doesn't know about the APA, the Alkaline Protection Association.
You said Alkaline Protection Association?
Alkalite.
Alkalite. The fuck is an alkalite?
You don't know about it. It's fucking Bradshaw and Ron Simmons. Damn!
Damn!
Well, The Blueprint's the most influential rap album of all time.
Damn!
I didn't know that.
Damn!
That ain't worth a shit.
That's the most overrated Kendrick Lamar album of all time.
Hell
All right,
yeah.
so.
But no, like, dude, it just, honestly, it's just like, this album just gets, it's just straight fire. Like I said, Forest and ATWA, Science, Trevor, one of Trevor's favorite songs.
That's the first song I ever heard by him, thanks to good old
BMX.
What is it called? Not BMX. It was the fucking ATV Off Road Fury 2. It was on the soundtrack to that. Very influential game soundtrack, given my music taste now.
Bro, we gotta review that fucking soundtrack.
It's fucking good. It's a 10. I don't know what to tell you.
Then you got Shimmy. Yeah, shimmy, shimmy, shimmy to the break of dawn, yeah. Like, that shit.
A bomb.
Man, that shit hit like, and then Toxicity, like, for some reason over the last 10, 15 years, like, people have posted their kids, 6-year-old fucking kids, apparently playing this song on drums. I'm like, it can't be that goddamn easy to play this fucking song. Like, I swear to God, like, every kid comes out playing the fucking drums with this. It don't make a bit of fucking sense. But
what a dystopian future this is.
Yeah, that's it. No, look, my 7-year-old son can play Master of Puppets. My 6-year-old daughter can play fucking Toxicity on the drums. It's like, shut up, bitch.
My kid is the avalanches.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying.
Play fucking Frontier Psychiatrist. That boy needs therapy.
That's what I'm saying. And then we got, but Toxicity, dude, what a great fucking song. Like, I know I was shitting on the meme about, like, kids playing the drum, like, man, that's a, there's a reason it's, like, it was one of the biggest songs. Just fucking stellar. What a great song. And then Psycho, like, cause I'm not counting that last, like, instrumental bullshit that's like the outro, alto. Like, I don't really count that because it just kind of fades out the album. But to me, like, ending the album on like a 3-run Toxicity, Psycho, and Aerials. Holy fucking shit. Like, what a 3-song run on an album.
This is a song to wake up and like, cut your eyeball with razor blades to and then go out for a run.
Yeah, pretty much.
Like, in a positive way.
Yeah, pour some lemon juice in your hog.
Yeah.
Open your foreskin up. I like that shit, dude. I mean, it really is. God damn. But yeah, like, dude, I don't know. Like, Aerials, like, even though it's one of the biggest hits, you can't go wrong with that song. Dude, it's so freaking good. I mean, oh, man, what a fucking album. Like, this album to me is so easy to listen to. Like, I can just put it on any day and just go, just listen to it. Like, I don't know. It's just that easy.
It fit into my workflow really well.
Oh, yeah, like, it flows with whatever you're doing. Yard work, fucking, like, hanging drywall, fucking doing electrical, like, whatever fucking kind of work. Like, it just flows good, man.
Bro, I was like ripping out technology innards, like listening to System of a Down, and I really felt like, I really felt like I understood punk rock, and for the first time in my life. As you should.
Yeah, I mean, but what's his name? Anthony Fantano. He gave this is one of his 10 out of 10 albums.
Of course it is.
And I get it. Like, I get it though. I mean.
Oh yeah, no, I definitely get it. I'm just, it's just.
It's not like I get it checks out that's one. Like it's just like I don't know, man. Like at this moment, like I've always said it was like a perfect album, and I do feel that way to an extent. But that like just a Chop Suey because like at this point in life, like I don't really want to listen to Chop Suey or Bounce. So like I skip those 2 songs that are right back to back, and then I just flow into the album out. So like,
but you did love them at one point, correct?
Yes. Well, I mean, yeah, like I did, but it's like
it's a single type shit.
Yeah, they just don't hit that. They just don't do it for me anymore.
It's the H to the Izzo off the album.
Yeah, like fuck it. I'm just gonna give it. Like I'm gonna stay hard. Like, cause I've always said I feel like I'd just be backtracking and being a pussy. Like, cause I've always said this is a 10 out of 10 album, and I'm just gonna stand 10 toes down on it. Like, fuck it. It really, dude, I mean, I don't care. I'll listen to fucking Chop Suey and Bounce some more. Like, fuck this shit, dude. This is a 10 out of 10. I really don't give a fuck. Call me a liberal. We can fight it out.
I don't think you trust.
I'll put you in the goddamn crippled crossface. Like, this shit rocks. I don't know what else to tell you. like I said, I'm not a System of a Down fan, but this album just does something for me.
It's definitely a classic. I can see why it's a lot of people's favorite album by them. But honestly, just keeping it 100%, I really enjoyed this album. But I liked the System of a Down self-titled better. Just because I really can't even give a specific reason. Like this guy, Serge Tonkin, is that how you say his name?
Yeah, Serge Tonkin.
That man spitting, bro. Fred Durst could never. Like that man rapping. Like he's just got like I noticed the thing that really stuck out to me, and I don't really have besides Chop Suey and the intro track. I don't really have any of the titles offhand because I was busy and I wasn't able to like look at all of them. But this shit is it's like Lupe Fiasco and A$AP Rock grew up in Maryland and like decided to start skateboarding and riding BMX, and they made a metal band, and like, but with better vocal abilities, and it's just like I like System of a Down. I can definitely consider myself a legit fan of System of a Down now. I'm not an educated fan yet, but I still like Chop Suey at this point. But just off of first time ever hearing this album all the way through, by my own willpower. I mean, I've heard it all the way through before, but I was a kid and I was just like, this is weird. I want to go to McDonald's. But I give this joint, like, I give it a 9. Or I'll go 8.5. I'll go 8.5. I gotta be more critical. The lowest thing I've ever given on this pod is before this episode was a 6, and everything ain't 6s, dog. This is an 8, though, with that being said.
That's right.
My favorite track is, Prison Time.
Yeah.
And, special mention, shout out to Rick Rubin and Kanye West. Well, really Rick Rubin, for being involved with everything, apparently.
Yeah, he was their in-house producer pretty much the entire time of their career.
Was he everybody's in-house producer? Like, how does that work? Like, Rick Rubin was doing, like, he was the executive producer on, like, 18 albums that were all hits at once.
Well, that's what he does.
He made Yeezus, too.
I mean, he's been the Chili Peppers producer since 91.
I did not know that. Jesus Christ.
Excluding the album in 2016, The Getaway. They got fucking Deadmau5 to fucking do it, but outside of that, it's been Rick Rubin since Blood Sugar Sex Magic was the first one he did, and that's their biggest fucking album, so go figure.
Shout out Rick Rubin, man. These kids got Rick Rubin fucked up, I guess.
Yeah.
I would personally. Sorry.
No, I was just saying Rick Rubin was on everything, but yeah, go ahead, Trev.
As Harley stated before, in the infancy of my life, when I decided to finally have a favorite band, very first time, it was System of a Down. And I think this album was one of the biggest reasons as to why that was. This album, to me, I've definitely grown out of them, but I mean, it's still a strong 9.5 out of 10 for me. I can't quite give it a 10 because I don't know what the fuck they were doing on that last song with Arto. Tugboya Kajarjabin, fucking, whatever his name is. It's just named after the dude that's doing all the music, essentially. And, it's a nice little outro, but again, I'm not really sure what you were doing there. Chop Suey is probably the most overplayed song in their discography by a mile, but still it stands the test of time as to why it's their biggest hit. It's catchy. It's got a good meaning behind it. Definitely overplayed though, at least for me. My favorite song on this album is Science, which is essentially written from the point of view of like a street preacher saying science is going to like kill the earth. And, this shit was written in 2001. And it's like, I'm starting to wonder like, science is a double-edged sword. And I don't want to sound like that kind of guy, but it definitely is,
Science
with like social media, fucking AI, like all this stuff going on. It's like it was made for a good purpose, but people have contorted it into something that could be perturbed as fucking evil. So, I do feel like that song has definitely flipped meanings in the past 24 years. And I would say Science or Deer Dance and Prison Song. I mean, those are 3 of my favorite songs from the album. 9.5 out of 10 all day.
Yeah.
Science is great.
Yeah, it's a solid album, man. Like,
It's very good.
So,
No.
what's your go with your number one pick, Trevor?
My number one album of 2001, in my humble opinion, is probably my second favorite Incubus album because Harley took my favorite. But that'll be all right. I took his favorite, one of his favorites. Starts off with "Nice to Know You" because we're talking about Morning View, which they just re-recorded with their new bassist. So congratulations to Incubus for doing their damn thing all over the place, and you love to see it. But like I said, we're talking about Morning View, and it starts off with "Nice to Know You," which between that and Privilege, it's kind of hard to say which one's the better opening track for an album. I personally prefer Privilege, but "Nice to Know You" is one of, like, might be the best, like, objectively speaking, the best opening track they ever had for any of their albums.
I mean,
Right after that,
it's hard, man. Like, that's it just grabs you, locks you in on that album.
yeah, no, because like it's definitely like like Nice to Know You is a return to form for what they sounded like for the albums previous, but like it's definitely like, okay, this is about to be a little more eclectic. And
It's like
then
that
the next
style
song,
dying almost. You know,
yeah,
like it's like the eulogy or whatever for that like part of Incubus, if you will.
yeah. And I mean, this really is like when it comes to their heavier music. I mean, there's heavy moments on this album, but "Nice to Know You" is definitely a great way to start that album and let you know this is going to be this is going to be a bit different. Right after that, it goes into one of my favorite songs on the album, "Circles," which absolute fucking banger of a song. Then it goes into, I would say, probably their second biggest hit they ever made, "Wish You Were Here." Um, Iconic song, a little overplayed in our friend circle, but I mean, still, I mean, there's a reason for that. It's still a fantastic song. Then it goes into, I would say, probably my favorite song on the album, "Just a Phase." It has this, like, the dynamics in this song going from loud to quiet to having just massive build up. And then, like, right after the first chorus, it's just like, no, we're gonna relax for a second. We're gonna go back. We're gonna have our NPR session here. Hi, welcome to my channel. It starts doing like ASMR in here, and then all of a sudden it's just like, sorry, we're just joking. And just fucking just starts screaming at you, and it's like, what a goddamn song it is. Then it goes into 11 a.m., which, another banger, absolute banger, slow banger, because Incubus was really channeling, instead of playing loud and fast, let's fuck around with melodies, and they definitely did that on this song. Right after that, it goes into what was originally my favorite song on this album, "Blood on the Ground," and still is one of my favorites from the album. Just absolute fucking ass beater of a song. Then it goes into what me and Harley probably both have is like the weakest cut on this album, in Mexico. Not that it's a bad song. It's just once you've heard this album a million times, it's just like, eh, like, you know, it's like there's other songs on this album that really tickle my fancy more than Mexico, but still a fantastic song nonetheless. Right after that, it goes into "Warning," which is another one of the biggest hits off this album, and a fantastic song at that. Iconic music video. And right after that, it goes into another one. Yeah, another one of my favorite songs on this album, with Echo. Um, the guitar work from Mike Eisinger, or however you pronounce his name. We'll just call him Mike.
Yeah,
The guitar,
Alright,
Einziger,
when's that?
Einziger, Einziger. All right. Anyway,
Einziger.
yeah, Mike doing his guitar thing on Echo, just absolutely wonderful guitar on that, and it's just very, very swayy, very just has you sitting there just like, wow, I'm on drugs, but you're not, and it's such a pleasant experience. Have You Ever? Immediately takes you out of that when you thought you could just relax for a second. It's just like, nope, here comes Have You Ever, and absolute banger. The tone on Dirk Lance's bass on this album, but on this song in general, fucking chef's kiss. We're talking about right after that, it goes into RUN, which another fantastic chill banger from this album. Directly after that, it goes into Under My Umbrella, which I would say, outside of the actual closing track on this album, has great closer energy. But the actual closing track on this album, Aqueous Transmission. Jesus Christ, dude. There's not many songs that Incubus has made that make you feel like you want to cry and just laugh, just enjoy the whole time. And Mike playing the pipa on this throughout. If you don't know what a pipa is, it's essentially like a Japanese sitar or a Japanese dulcimer. It sounds very guitar like, but it's not necessarily a guitar. Um, Fantastic instrumentation throughout. DJ Kilmore with the soft, subtle scratches throughout, and just a perfect way to end an album. And I would say, all that in mind, for me, this album, God, it's at least a 9 out of 10. Like, at the very least, at its lowest point is a 9 out of 10. On a good day, to 9.75. It's not quite perfect, but I gotta say, like, it's in between a 9 to a 9.75 out of 10. I can't, with confidence, give it a 10, but I know there's a lot of people that would. But with that in mind, this album is like, it really was the defining factor in their career as far as what the rest of their career was going to sound like on a sonic level. And Make Yourself definitely was like that last album from them that had that edge of like a Science or an Enjoy Incubus or, like Fungus Among Us, that era of them. But the way they did this album, it was they released it pretty much fresh off the heels of 9/11. And I feel like this album was like, this is what America needed to heal from 9/11. And this,
It sounds like part of the grieving process. It just fits in very well with, it's a very good grief album.
Yeah, Incubus and Alan Jackson helped heal the world.
That's right. Where were you when the world stopped turning? Well, I wasn't listening to Alan Jackson, I'll tell you that. I was listening to
September Day.
Well, yeah.
Listening to Blueprint, motherfucker, bro. It just dropped. Fuck you mean, bro? Get out of here. Terrorist attack, what?
Yeah,
Terrorist attack who?
Fuck it. Dude, Morning View, I mean, what? Like, dude, it don't have a bad song on there, but it's not my, God, and it's hard to say this, but I don't even think it's, no, it's not my favorite Incubus album. Which is wild because, like, when I was younger, I was like, this is it. But then, like, I was listening to the whole discography. I'm like, damn, these motherfuckers don't miss. And like,
fun fact, this album was produced by the same dude that produced 6 REM albums. And if you were curious as to which ones it were, Green, Out of Time, Automatic for the People, Monster, and New Adventures in Hi-Fi.
yeah, so like all their biggest fucking albums.
Yeah, so that's probably why this.
Brandon O'Brien?
Scott Litt.
Close enough.
Scott Litt. I love that name.
That's an actual name too.
Like, I'm like,
what a guy.
I mean, dude, you can make a case for making this a 10 out of 10. Like, it is a perfect fucking album. I don't know. Yeah, I guess I'll give it a 9.5 like you. I don't know, 9. It's fucking hard, man, cause like, I've listened to it so much. It's like, you're like, Mexico's the weakest song. And I'm like, to me, it's not. And then I was like, what song would be the weakest? And I'm sitting here going through, I'm like, I don't think there's a fucking weak song. Like, the only thing I can think of is like the first 2.5 minutes of Just a Phase. You're like, skip through that shit and then get to the music and or get to the vocals. But like,
it was a little bit long for my taste as well.
Yeah, like Just a Phase, like I don't like the whole, I've never liked the whole 2 minutes or 2.5 minutes of, fucking wah 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 wah. No, fuck that. I just get the goddamn Brendan singing, like that's all I want.
I'm with instrumentation and stuff at the end of a song usually, but at the beginning, unless it's like a rare circumstance, get that shit, bro. Sing to me first, and then fucking your way out.
Yeah, no, I get that. But I mean, that's honestly one of the reasons I like the song so much. So, we can agree to disagree.
No, we can't.
Yeah, we can.
No, I'm just kidding.
But yeah, it's a great album. I mean, fuck, I don't know what to tell you. But yeah, what do you think about it, Kenny? What's your review before you go into your last album?
No, I mean, my review of Morning View, my review of Morning View. Here's my views on the review of Morning View. Okay, it's a fantastic album. It does sound like, in a way, like I said, earlier, like it's kind of like the death of like old Incubus, and I haven't heard new Incubus. I'm in uncharted territory. All I'd ever heard was Make Yourself, which is still my favorite album by them as of now. But I feel like that could change. Maybe. Possibly.
Wait till you get to Light Grenades. It's gonna change your fucking life.
That's a ballin' ass title. Nice to Know You was my favorite. Oh, sorry. Nice to Know You is my favorite on the album. But Wish You Were Here is a close second. I enjoyed Mexico. I really enjoyed Aqueous Transmission.
Oh yeah.
It's I'm still new. I'm still off my first listen, and like I want to give this a 9, but I'm gonna be conservative here. And man, 9/11 happened September 11th. The world needed this. I'm gonna give this a 9.
Like, I mean, it really is that good. Like, you listen to it one time, and you're like, nah. Like, you can see the impact it had. Like, just how good of a fucking album it is.
Well, I didn't know the context of it either until just now, and like it got me. I'm on the Wikipedia's now, and like, yeah, this is. I hate to say a perfect album for 9/11, but it's like it was probably needed for a lot of people who were going like y'all are so young enough, y'all are old enough to remember 9/11. Like that shit was like before like the pride, there was just like that suffocating feeling, like the air had been sucked out of your lungs type deal,
Yeah.
And like this album, it's I feel like it'd be very good for the grieving process and healing process in any situation. Yeah, 9/10.
Yeah, brother. All right, let's go, brother. What's your damn number one?
Man, bro, I've said this a lot on here, and we're trying to cap this off in good time. So I'm gonna try to just wrap it up with a nice little bow because I don't need to really do too much talking. I ain't even gonna hold y'all. My number one album is Stillmatic by Nas.
Yep.
All right, this has been All Yard Podcast. Nah, so like, pause for cough. So like, this album opens up with Ether, which if you don't know about Ether, then you must be a Jay-Z fan, bro. Get the fuck up out of my car, dog. This was after 9/11 too, and after Morning View, when folks were getting back violent again. It's time to go ride on folks. So it starts out with Ether, which has one of the worst beats for any rap song I've ever heard. Like the beat is just god awful. But Nas walked on that bitch, bro. He really did. Man said like an AIDS test, what's the results? Not positive. Like, and if you don't know the history behind this, so Jay-Z and Nas were in a beef at this time, and it had just started. I believe that Takeover did come out first. Takeover came out first, and I can't quote any of Takeover, and I've listened to it a bunch of times. My only thing is the Kanye West beat. That's all I got from it. It's a diss record, dog. You're not supposed to have the beat be the main star of your diss record. Get the fuck out of here. Go who? Ether is like some of the like. Also, Nas started the narrative that Eminem killed Jay-Z on Renegade when he said Eminem murdered you on your own shit. It's an insulting track. Like I might have to load up the motherfucking pistol and go out to war if somebody drops a track like Ether towards me. Like I really may have to do some violence and commit and contribute to the stereotype. Like it also like kind of like Stan in a way. It created a term that is still used. Like you can ether somebody, So yeah, that's all I got to say about that one. Got Yourself a Gun. Man, they should have had this be the intro to The Sopranos. That would have been fire. But actually, I don't think The Sopranos is a little bit. They're like in their third season by the time this came out. But it's fantastic. It has the same sample from the Got Yourself a Gun, but it's pitched up. It's fantastic. This is, you guys have heard me talk about the song where Eminem raps in, not Eminem. You guys have heard about the song where Nas raps in reverse. You've heard me go on about that one already. This is actually the album that it's on. He tells the story in reverse and, it rhymes and somehow it all works. Again, he did all this without like large use of the internet. Just fucking amazing. I'm gonna skip One Mic and come back to it. Actually, yeah, I'm gonna skip One Mic and come back to it. Second Childhood is good. Destroy and Rebuild is good. Destroy and Rebuild probably, this is the weak spot of the album if I had to pick one. Just Second Childhood and then Destroy and Rebuild. Especially following up One Mic, because One Mic is, I'll loop back and catch that one. Because One Mic I could do a whole podcast about One Mic. The Flyest featuring AZ. It kind of caps out the end of the mid run of this album. These three songs are the only reason this album isn't a 10 for me. Because Rule is another one of my favorite. Another one of my favorites. It samples that everybody wants to. It samples that. Trackmaster is on the beat. It's the only one they produced on this album, I believe, which is a shame because man, I don't know why I keep trying to call him Eminem. Nas needed Trackmasters and Trackmasters needed Nas. Like, I'm not saying that they all, Nas went on to be illustrious, obviously, But Trackmasters and Eminem, for the love of God, Trackmasters and Nas is a combination that I don't know if we would have gotten like the first 4 albums, or well, after Illmatic, just between Trackmaster production and DJ Premier production, Nas is undebatably the greatest rapper ever. You know?
Yeah.
So, Eminem did not drop an album in this year, by the way. I don't know why the hell Marshall done gave me the hypnotization. Renegade. Never been afraid. All right. My Country featuring Millennium Thug. I like this song a lot. It's very political. It's based around, this is a very socially conscious album in general from Nas, but, this is the bread and butter of Nas, in my opinion. This is my favorite Nas. Like when he's talking shit about the government and talking about overthrowing, Viacom and shit. That's my favorite. That's my shit. I like that type of Nas. And then What Goes Around featuring Keon Bryce and Every Ghetto. They're both good, but the main reason this album is my number one, because I almost gave it to Pat again, two episodes in a row, and it's One Mic, bro. One Mic is essential listening for life. Like I feel like it's
It's your favorite Nas song, isn't it?
It is my favorite Nas song. I'm trying to find words. It's fantastic, man. It's like a lot of people. Nas was off of a weird run, and then Jay-Z dissed him and stuff. So at this point in his career, people were like, "It's over with," because he set the bar so high for it to even be over with. Because he hasn't made a bad album, but the fact that he was able to top it and then top it like this, and then he called it Stillmatic. They thought he was going to make an Illmatic 2. Everybody had been waiting on Illmatic 2 or whatever, and he hit him with that Stillmatic, which may sound a little corny now, but back in 2001, this was like revolutionary. Nas shits on Jay-Z, bro, every step of the way. I don't care that, Nas ended up signing to Jay-Z, or Jay-Z has more money than him, which is going to end up debatable. We'll see how all this fucking shit that's in the news works out for our friend Sean. See if he's a friend in a year. But Nas, man, like Nas is a real one, dude, and One Mic is definitely the bread and butter of who he is, I think, and what he stands for. That's really some of the best storytelling, the beat on it, the beat switch. And Nas, I just read this, Nas produced half of that song, which Nas does not make beats like that. So that's crazy to know that he had a hand in the crafting of that beat. And even though it's so minimalistic, it's just it smacks, bro. But yeah, Stillmatic by Nas is my number one album. I probably should have given it to Pat, but I've been listening to Nas longer. I mean, well, I've been a super fan of Nas longer, and you gotta stick with what your foundations and shit, even though Pat is part of my foundations. I'm gonna give Stillmatic a 9. Favorite song, One Mic. Honorable mentions, Ether, Rewind, and Got Yourself a Gun, and Rule. Shouts out to Nas.
I mean, yeah, it's a tough album, brother. I mean, what? Give it a 4? No.
Bro, get out my motherfucking car.
Yeah, you do my boy George Strait like that, brother. See what I do to you.
I gave him a 5.
No, I'm just kidding. Like, you can't fuck with Nas. Like, bro, Nas was on some shit back in the day, And, like, you can't deny that shit, man. Like, this album, like, I mean, Ether alone, you could just, I mean.
Ether just wins. It just wins at everything. Like, doesn't matter what.
Like that and One Mic alone are just like, okay, fuck it, it's a goddamn 8, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, I don't know. Like, yeah, like, and I, like, Got Yourself a Gun, I really do like how that, like, picked up off of Ether, because, like, you drop something like Ether and you have to follow it up with something, you're like, goddamn. Like,
it's one of the best Nas beats, ever.
Yeah, and like, I think Got Yourself a Gun just kind of, like, I think it does really well as, like, following up on that,
It's Stay Dangerous music.
Yeah. And, like, but I'm like you, like, My Country, there's something about, like, the political, and I'm not a big political person. I don't really get off list of that stuff, but there's something about Nas when he starts getting hot and just starts spitting bars about shit, and it's like, yeah, hell yeah, brother, I'm with you. Like,
Nobody else does it like that. Like, I don't think the delivery matching with the lyricism and just like that shit. I don't think anybody does it better. He's a master at that.
Yeah. So
Absolutely.
that would be, yeah. I had to give this album really enjoyed listening to it. You know, like you said, there's a few, you know, the midpoints, like, you know, Second Childhood, Destroying Rebuilds, alright. It's like, I don't know. But like, and I think it's really just trying to, like, follow up One Mic with them too. And it's like, okay, like, you needed something a little bit heavier, you know, a little bit more hard hitting to come after One Mic. But, you know, it is what it is. Yeah, I'd have to give this album a solid 8.5. I'll give it 8.5. I mean, like, I mean, I don't know what to say, man. Like, it's fucking, we're not trying to be biased. Like, we're not trying to pick each other's shit and be like, yeah, but like, dude, like, just listen to fucking Nas and like that shit he was doing, you know, besides Nostradamus, and like, this shit was banging back in the day.
Nostradamus ain't even that bad neither if you think about it. The first 5 albums by Nas are hard to beat, man.
Oh yeah. I mean, you're not wrong. But Nostradamus is the one people look at like, no, I'm not fucking listen to that shit.
I can name one song off Nostradamus, and I'm a gigantic Nas fan. We'll leave it at that.
Yeah. So, but yeah, what's your review on it, Trevor?
I feel like this album itself definitely, this was the album that showed, outside of, you know, his 90s work, that showed that Nas could actually transcend into the next decade, and he did it in fucking stunning fashion. Obviously, Ether, y'all have already talked about it enough for me, but Ether by itself it might be the best diss track of all time, especially just on, like, it hits all the bars except for, you know, the beat itself. But Kenny's already covered that. Kind of a weak instrumental, but Nas slides all over that shit like an icy road in the best way possible. Got Yourself a Gun, absolute banger of a song. My favorite song on this album, honestly, is probably Rule with Amiri, or, you know,
Yeah, not a bad song.
They do their thing on this album. One Mic, absolutely fantastic. This album itself set Nas apart as somebody that could be like anybody, like all the people that were coming from the 90s into the 2000s. Yeah, like Chris Rock, you know, yeah, that Chris Rock compiled a list of his top 25 hip hop albums of all time, to which he ranked Stillmatic at number 20, commenting, quote, "It's like Mama said Knock You Out 11 years earlier," where a guy just reclaimed his spot. And I fully agree.
I guess Will's a Jay-Z fan.
Yeah, but with that being said, no, I'm joking. Can't even joke. Can't even joke like that. This album is absolutely a 10. On a 10 scale, I'd have to give it 8.75 out of 10. Not quite a 9, but to me, this isn't Nas's best album. It's not his best work, but big fucking butt here. This is absolutely one of the best albums he's put out in the past 25 years. And, if you are wanting to deep dive into Nas, I'd recommend, obviously you got to start out with Illmatic, the original title track inspiration for this album's name in the first place. Then Kenny's favorite album, and probably my favorite album from Nas as well. It was written after listening to it a couple times. I do have to share your sentiment on that. And obviously Stillmatic, dude. I mean, like he did it. Like he really, like he went full send, and he showed everybody why he is the best rapper from New York.
Bro. And it's just mind blowing that people still say that Jay-Z is the greatest rapper from New York. And, I'm not going to harp on it that much more, but like for real though, like go and listen to, if you never listen to rap music or whatever, or if you like rap music, just get into it, go and listen to Jay-Z's first 4 albums, and then go and listen to Nas's first 4 albums, and try to look at me and tell me that Jay-Z's better in any way, shape, or form. Jay-Z is Nas' children, bro, for real.
I'm sorry, look, this is probably going to piss off some Jay-Z fans. Nas has more great albums than Jay-Z has good, I didn't say great there, good songs. All right?
Yeah.
So with that in mind, that is my thoughts on that, and I do have to fully agree. Like, Nas is that motherfucker from New York.
Yeah,
that
Queensbridge.
represents New York. You know, like out of the, especially the more mainstream rappers out of New York, he is that guy. So
Hawaiian shirt, hanging with Lil Chase.
that's right.
Yeah, thank you. I'm glad nobody hated on us. I'm sorry, Harley. It did hurt me to go in on George Strait, but it was just mid. Daft Punk, I don't apologize for none of that. They let me down.
It's all right. I mean,
All right. Well,
you've been pretty fair though. Like, I don't know. I mean, hell, like, you've been honest anyways. Like about all the, of course, like the other George Strait albums I've had, like hell, they were just a little bit better. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, that's kind of how I feel about the Nas album. Like this Nas album is maybe fifth for me, and that's how it's really not a testament to, that's a bad album. It's just like there's so much better shit, So I definitely understand that. We're at the 5-minute mark, y'all.
All right. Well, I think we're probably at the end mark myself. I personally, unless y'all got something else to add in the next 5 minutes.
I mean, not really. I didn't know if y'all want to drop an honorable mention, but I'll just say these three real quick. I'm not gonna go into them, but like, Silver Side Up, Nickelback, fucking banger. Fucking Stain, Break the Cycle, probably their best album it's their full album. Awesome. Pull My Chain, Toby Keith. Listen, fuck you, like, whatever you feel about Toby Keith, that's a fucking banging ass album. That's the one that has I Want to Talk About Me on it, so that's all you need to know.
I want to talk about me. I want to talk about
We're talking about number one, what I think, what I like, what I know, what I want, what I see.
What I see.
I want to talk about me.
I want to talk about me.
Oh, damn, I fucked it up.
I want to talk about me.
R.I.P. Toby Keith.
Yeah.
What?
Rest in peace.
Wait, he did?
Yeah, he died last year.
Yeah, he died last
He
year.
died last week?
Last year.
Last year? Okay. Oh, okay. Oh, I did hear about that. RP Toby Keith, Red Solo Cup.
Shout out. Hell yeah,
But,
brother.
my honorable mention is, man, and Moral Technique dropped his first album this year, and it's got Dance with the Devil on it. I'm not gonna go into it, but Moral Technique, if you like that political shit, it's Moral Technique's essential listening.
Get after it.
I would say, of my honorable mentions, just because you only had one, you said, right?
Yeah, that's it.
Okay, I didn't want to interrupt you. Yeah, I only have two. I only have two. I'll keep it quick. The Green album from Weezer. Nice. If you like nerd rock, that's the shit for you. And this one just about made the list, but I couldn't leave off any of the three I talked about. We're talking about Anthology from Alien Ant Farm. Absolute fucking banging album, and honestly, probably the only like really noteworthy album they ever made. But fucking great album, it really is. But yeah, with that being said, that was all of our favorite albums from 2001. If we left anything off that hurt your little dick, go ahead and comment go ahead and leave a comment down there. And while you're at it, if you really want to show us, if you really want to make us mad, go ahead and subscribe. Please don't subscribe. That'd make us so mad. Leave a like if you really want to uppercut our feelings. And if you really, really want to make us mad, go ahead and hit that share button and share it to your Facebook feed.
I'm gonna pull up on you, bro, wherever you at.
Yeah, it's like I feel like it'd be a little overkill, It's like you want to get mad at us and send us like $20 a piece. I mean, that'd really hurt my feelings. But
money.
but that being said, we want to thank you for listening to episode 31 of Our Yard Podcast. I have been Swaggy T. Harley has been Yield Hogmaster. That's has been Kenny. And
one last thing.
Shout out Simpo.
Yeah, shout out Simpo, and that's Kenny. One last thing. Jay-Z, suck a fucking bag of dick.